A ghost touring company has recently faced significant controversy, especially by prominent figures within the paranormal community, for their most recent acquisitions and tourist locations. We're going to dive into that today. Apologies for the normal setup. I'm in Greece on my honeymoon, but the news doesn't stop, so I don't stop. Now, this all came about because Amy Bruni over on her Twitter page put up a post saying, "I'm sure you can all imagine who this is. Mainland company plans to start ghost tours in Lahaina," I believe I've pronounced that right, "where more than 100 died in wildfires." I can't access the link because I'm in Greece and there's some strict GDPR protection laws, which means that I literally cannot physically open this link, unfortunately. But a lot of people jumped on Amy Bruni. This is kind of the first caveat that I want to dive into. Claiming that Amy was talking about Zach Bagans, and Ghost Adventures, which is really interesting because literally if you look at the link itself, it comes up with US Ghost Adventures, not actual Ghost Adventures, but that's what people seem to jump on. Anyway, so some people stated, so I looked this up, this tour company isn't Zach, but you implied your followers that it was Zach, which I have defended you in the past for being vague. You took nothing away because you simply stole his name. She said nothing about Zach. She knows who it is. Oh, sorry, I haven't pulled up the page. She knows who it is, and probably other paranormal people do because they probably do the same kind of nonsense. A lot of people have jumped on this. So a lot of people have claimed that Amy was referencing Zach Bagans because she was very vague in her title. I'm sure you can imagine who this is. But literally, if you tap on the link, you will find out that it's Ghost Adventures, US Ghost Adventures at least, sorry. Yeah, just people kind of jumping on this. People have defended Amy, fortunately, and it says, "Seems like you made the assumption and blamed it on Amy. That's wild." I saw the comments and nobody corrected people commenting. Just because you corrected it doesn't mean that it's inherently true. And then Amy retweeted this tweet as well, stating, "No, I didn't. This is to the, this isn't Zach, but you're implying it was Zach." She said, "No, I didn't. You took it that way. Anyone who knows the company knows exactly who I'm talking about." Now, US Ghost Adventures, if you've not seen them before, this is their kind of, this is their thing. They've obviously... They're all over the place. So they've got the Lizzie Borden house, they've got the Axe Murder house, they've got like a few properties under their wing, right? And they've been heavily criticised in the past. I've made a video about these guys before for basically bullying out competition and trying to undermine competition, trying to buy them out, trying to get them thrown out of locations so that they can then sweep in and take contracts and stuff like this. Really shady people, a really dodgy company in my honest opinion, and it would appear that that is kind of the sentiment across the board. Now, with regards to this recent stuff that's been going on, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding it. So US Ghost Adventures are a company obviously known for offering ghost tours in various US cities. They've recently faced significant controversy, like stated by Amy Bruni, for example, over plans to launch ghost tours in Lahaina, which is in Maui. Just 2 years after devastating 2023 wildfires that killed over 100 people and destroyed much of the town. So these wildfires swept in, took a lot of lives, destroyed basically the entire cities. And these guys are coming in being like, right, this is the perfect place to set up a ghost tour because why not, I suppose. The proposed tour, marketed as exploring the quote-unquote chilling and tragic history of Lahaina's historic sites like the old Lahaina prison and old fort, has sparked outrage among locals who view it as exploitative and disrespectful to the community's ongoing grief and recovery. Now, these people have barely recovered, if not haven't even recovered yet from these tragedies, and this company's coming in and basically being like, oh, a lot of people passed here, a lot of tragedies happened in this place. Sounds like the ideal location to really kind of hammer home some ghost tours. So that's why people are kind of up in arms about it a little bit. Now, obviously, the locals have spoken out as well. Critics, including residents like Kiha Kaina, who has also spoken out, who lost her father in the fires, argue that it's too soon to commodify such a recent tragedy, especially in sacred areas with cultural significance, such as those near the banyan tree and King, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry, Kamehameha sites which burials are located. Now, despite the backlash, US Ghost Adventures website and related platforms have basically promoted the Ghost Walks still, emphasizing the historical and supernatural aspects of the tour, led by guides Captain Wally and his dog Thomas. Now, basically, they're still plowing ahead with it. Even though there's controversy, they're like, forget that, we're just going to carry on as if anyway. So they're basically plowing on. They're going to go ahead with this. Now, the company has temporarily suspended its Lahaina tours due to wildfires, redirecting visitors to other locations like Hilo or Kailua Kona. I apologise, I have absolutely butchered this, on Big Island. However, the plan to resume tours in Lahaina has drawn comparisons to inappropriate profiteering, with some likening it to the hypothetical tours at Ground Zero shortly after 9/11. People have actually drawn those comparisons and been like, this is kind of on the same scale as people exploiting tours around Ground Zero shortly after 9/11 took place, because, you know, it's a very recent tragedy. Now, but beyond Lahaina, US Ghost Adventures continues to expand, offering tours in 85 cities, including recent additions like Santa Fe and 8 new locations announced in 2023. The company emphasizes entertaining, historic, and authentic experiences. With a team of over 400 employees and guides, also operates historic properties like Lizzie Borden House for overnight stays. Now, a lot of people are not happy about this, and that is, you know, no better seen as in like places like Reddit, which reflects strong disapproval for the Lahaina tours, and locals and commentators calling the initiative quote-unquote disgusting and criticizing the company for attempting to profit off of recent trauma. Now, this isn't anything new for this company. You know, they've, like I've said, I've made a video about these guys in the past where, you know, they basically strong-armed companies out of locations, and they try to like put in bad reviews and bad reps and trying to speak to higher ups at locations to try and make it look as if these guys are bad guys just to bully out competition. So, you know, these guys are shady characters. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. And yeah, but with regards to the Amy Bruni stuff, obviously she's not referenced Zach Bagans or whatsoever. I've seen a few people mention that. Some people have even sent me messages being like, oh, Amy's mentioned Zach in a vague message. She's not at all. Yes, it is US Ghost Adventures, but the US at the start is obviously, even that, right? They're trying to like profit off of the Ghost Adventures tagline. Because if you type in Ghost Adventures, obviously, or US Ghost Adventures, you're going to come up alongside all of the Ghost Adventures tags. Which, yeah, you know, it's clever to a degree, but it's also just riding coattails. But here we are. What do you guys make of this controversy? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.